we need to use that pain and transmute it into art, or else that pain's going to stay stuck in our body and literally eat us alive.
Can't be contained.
That's what I'm talking about. Yo, what is up? Welcome back to the Can't Be Contained podcast. You guys, I am so excited. I'm so excited that our Pause Breathwork app is finally on all of the phones in the world. By that, I mean we are on iOS and we're on Android. That's been the number one question this girl's got for the last 4 years is, when are you guys coming out on Android? And I am so happy to say that we are finally here. You've got Breathwork on demand in your back pocket 24/7. If you need a little pick-me-up, if you need to clear your mind, if you need to open your heart, if you need to release comparison, if you need to do anything, if you need anything at all, head on over to the Pause Breathwork app. Just search Pause Breathwork in wherever you download apps. There is a 14-day free trial, whether you're doing Android or iOS. Go hook it up. Let me know how you love it. This has been creating this app. This is kind of timely, actually, with this episode, because this episode is all about creating art from pain. And the app is an interesting story in the sense of, I asked myself, what would I have needed? What would I have wanted in my life at the times where I was struggling so badly with my eating disorder, so badly with body image issues, so badly with chronic anxiety and overwhelm, and just feeling anything other than alive. Let's just say that. I was feeling dead inside for many years. And I would have loved so much to have a piece of technology that I could just fire up and do 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes of breath work and just completely change my state and completely change my day. And so I created something out of my own need, my own pain, my own desire for breath work to be accessible to the world. And so I really hope you guys enjoy it. It's been so fun building this app. Well, fun. Okay, maybe not fun. It's fun when it's done. It's been a labor of love. Let's just say that. It's been a labor of love building this app and producing it and just pouring so much love into every single track. And I really hope you guys feel that when you listen to it. My heart and soul truly goes into really creating a masterful journey for y'all to have access to this work and just find deeper layers of your own essence and your own love. And I really hope that comes through on the app. So if you're not yet on the Pause Breathwork app, head on over to Pause Breathwork. There's a little orange emblem. You'll be able to see it. And there's a free 14-day trial. Okay, let's get into today's episode. So I realize that I am my most creative when I am my most heartbroken. And there's something about the way I operate in life where when I'm going through something that is really challenging and I'm feeling a lot of heaviness and a lot of intensity and anxiousness, I go to art. I create art with my pain. And this process helps me not only make some really cool shit, because there's some sort of jet fuel when it comes to creating when you're in pain, but it helps alleviate the stuckness. It helps me make sense of whatever I'm going through. I remember, I got goosebumps as I'm telling the story, but I remember my last breakup was shitty, as all breakups are, and incredibly emotionally expensive for me, incredibly painful, incredibly I just felt like a wreck. And every single day I would wake up during that healing process and just ask myself, what can I make today? What can I make today? What can I make today? This burden and this pain is so much for my body. I need some of it to live on the outside of me. That was literally what I thought. I need some of this pain to live on the outside of me because it is eating me alive being inside my body. And no one told me to do this. It was just sort of this intuitive feeling of just go make something with it. And so at the time I was doing Julia Cameron's book, The Artist Way, and I would wake up every single morning and she has this process called morning pages, for those of you who are familiar with this. It's 3 pages of just stream of consciousness. And that process was so epic for me in just taking all of my emotionality and putting it on paper. And it didn't really make any sense. It was just like, just like garbage flowing out of my body. And what came down on the paper really didn't make sense, but neither did my emotionality. That didn't make sense at all. And so it was just this creative process of release without it needing to go out in the world or anything like that. And that is a really important thing when we're using art to process our pain. Is you're not going to monetize this right away, like maybe later, but like right away, don't do it to monetize it. Don't do it for an audience. You know, Rick Rubin, I love his book, his latest book. He talks about don't make art for your audience, make art for you. And that's this whole concept is when you are processing through pain, make the art for you. Make it for your own. It's your own healing process. That's it. It's not for anyone else. And so when we do this, it really removes all of the I'm not creative terminology or ideology. Listen, you are creative. You are the most creative, intelligent structure on this face of this planet. Humans are innately creative. We create. You're creating right now. You're creating right now. We are creating right now. I'm creating right now. John's creating. We are all creating right now. We're creating our reality through our energy. And so if we know that we're creating our reality through our energy, then what we can do is we can begin to transmute a lot of that energy, pain, into art so we have more spaciousness for the goodness to come down into our bodies. You are creative. You are innately creative. That's not going away. The question is, how are you using your creativity? Is it on autopilot and you're just creating a bunch of shit that you don't want in your life on autopilot, subconsciously just creating more chaos and garbage? Or are you realizing I am a freaking deliberate creator of my own reality and moment by moment, I am cultivating this whole experience? Your life is a hologram of what is happening inside of you. And so if your life looks like a piece of shit, I'm not going to say you're a piece of shit, but maybe your belief systems are. Maybe your belief systems are crunchy. Maybe they're not yours. Maybe they're your family's. And so we got to create space. We got to clean up shop, right? Like life is just too damn short to hold on to belief systems that aren't yours. Life is too damn short to not take responsibility for the fact that you are a deliberate creator. And that truth came to me at such an inconvenient time, as truth always does. I find the truth always comes at the times where I'm just like, go away. I don't want this truth right now. But the truth hurts sometimes, and the truth will also set you free. And I remember driving from my apartment when I lived in Vancouver, Canada, back to my parents' house, which is about 45 minutes out of the city. And I was taking a coaching call. My coach was coaching me. And he just basically said, when are you going to stop being addicted to your excuses and actually take responsibility for the fact that you're creating all of this? And as soon as he said that, it was silent. And he didn't say anything to break the awkward silence, and I didn't say anything to break the awkward silence. So we both kind of just sat there for a few minutes on the phone. As I'm driving down the highway, I'm like, damn, like way to be called into love. Even though it didn't feel like that. It felt like a total smack in the face. But something shifted in that moment where I got like mad goosebumps. Something shifted in that moment, and it made me realize the depths of how creative I actually am and the capacity in which my creativity lives in. And so make art from pain. Write poetry. The amount of poetry that is in the note section on my phone that no one else has ever seen is crazy. It's probably 100 times more than the content that I actually put out into the internet. Into the internet? That sounded like something my grandma would say. The Facebook. It's more than what I would put on the Facebook. So much more. Because if something happens, my brain goes, let me just create from this. Let me just get it out. And so I mentioned Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way morning pages. Great. If you do like writing poetry, great. Write poetry. I wrote an entire, this is hilarious. And the first time I'm admitting this, but when I went through that breakup, I wrote 12 songs that have yet to be produced. I'm actually, I'm working with one of my good friends right now, Krista, and one of the songs that we co-wrote together, it's called Love is a Fire. And love is a fire. It'll burn you and turn you into yourself. Love is a fire. It's so good. But that came from my last breakup where I'm like, fuck, love will burn you down and then it will rebuild you. And that song would have never been written and produced, and we're going to release it. And our vision is to have Adele sing it. That's like, I'm putting that in the universe right now because I sure as hell is not going to sing it, but she could. And things like that, moments like that. The second thing is, so we got morning pages, we got poetry, we got writing songs, dance. I danced. I created movement with my body. Now, yes, you guys are probably thinking, yeah, but Sam, you're a dancer. You have a background in dance. Yeah, that's true. But there's a big difference between dance and movement. You don't need to look good to move. Somatic movement is so powerful. I teach somatic movement in my somatic coaching certification. Somatic movement is just the art of moving, shaking, releasing, letting go, releasing, letting go, releasing, letting go, and letting the body truly do the work. That is so powerful. And if you want to make art, make it more artistic, sure, add some choreography, but you so don't need to. You absolutely don't need to. I love doing it because I love the intricacies of movement, and I love creating shapes, and I love I was a contemporary dancer, so I just love the dramatic nature of movement, but move. Just move. Eric and I, a couple of weekends ago, we were walking past a pottery where you make pottery, and you like get these bricks and then you like mold it and move and you can just like shape it. It's like that, like transmute the pain into that. Transmute the pain into spoken word. You know, you don't need to use social media as group therapy as many people do. Definitely don't do that. But once you process through the pain, then you can do a spoken word about it. And you don't need to give context. You're like, this is just art. You don't need to know the backstory around it. This is just my expression. And the cool thing about making art from pain is people feel it. You guys can feel when I make something that is an expression of my emotionality versus when I make something because I think it's what you want. And I really try, as a creator, I really try and not do that at all. Even like this podcast, I'm like, I want to do this podcast because I want to explain my process because that feels so good for me. And I hope you guys get value out of that. You know? And so it's the same thing with your artistry. Make it for you. Make it for you first. Make it for you first. And if the audience resonates, that's a bonus. And how can they not when we are describing the human experience? You know, we're describing what most people don't talk about, especially on social media, right? Where there is that like highlight reel phenomenon going on where people think that their life looks like a piece of shit because they're not on a yacht in Miami or at Burning Man or whatever it is. How can we speak to the other side of social media where we're like, hey, we're actually all human, having a human experience, and happiness and fulfillment is definitely a percentage of this experience, but it's not the whole range. And how can we be open about that? And how can we be empathetic towards each other? And how can we share a part of ourselves that not many people are willing to share? I think there's something really human about that. I think there's something really raw and cool about that. And so again, don't post it until you're ready, going back to the whole concept of make it for you, not them. But if you make something and months later, the charge of that process, of that breakup, of that grief, of that breakdown has passed and you've gathered the lessons and you moved on, then go ahead, share it. I wrote a poem probably like, 4 years ago. And it was maybe longer actually. It was when I was burning down Hungry for Happiness and going full on into Pause. And I was retiring myself from the hustle culture, and I was going into feminine business, which is how I'm committed to running my company now. And I wrote a poem about it. I didn't create content out of it until, what was that, John? Like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah. We got to post that soon. I'm excited. Right. It's like that. I didn't want to post that when I wrote it because it was so raw. It was like the inner of my experience of just like being an entrepreneur who was so deeply unhappy, even though from the outside, everything looked amazing, right? My company was literally called Hungry for Happiness, and I was so unhappy. So, riddle me that. That's hilarious in and of itself. But I created that 5 years later, and my body's like, hey, I kind of want to post that. And I messaged Aaron, who I co-wrote it with, and I was like, yo, are you cool if I like post that poem that we made together? And so I made a reel out of it. And I did that because number one, it was a fucking awesome poem. But number two, it's because part of my mission is helping women do business in the new way so we can liberate ourselves, we can set ourselves free, and we can just be so much more collaborative and creative and abundant. And so I'm like, so many people are going to resonate with that. So many people are going to resonate with that time period where I wanted to throw up my hands and be like, this isn't worth it anymore. And what it took for me to push through that and what I learned through that, I think that's really valuable. And it was interesting because I wrote it and then I updated it after having the lesson. So the contrast is pretty cool. So choosing what is my modality for creation, guys, food. Food is, for some of you, you are incredible in the kitchen. Rather than just making dinner, how can you use your emotionality and put that into something creative that is then beneficial on the other side? And that cycle of pain, creativity, and devouring is much shorter than some of our other creations that we've talked about. But what a beautiful thing, of like being so intentional and so present and mindful and feeling your emotionality it's just beautiful, right? And so the message today is use your pain, transmute it into art, and let yourself experience the healing that would not be possible if we waited. I had this thought a couple years ago where I was like, healing doesn't take time, it takes intention. And we can accelerate that healing through various things. But I really believe this is one of the ways that we can accelerate that healing, is being intentional about not waiting for it to get better, but really being present and showing up and declaring the pain and communicating the pain and articulating the pain and making it poetic and making it move into movements and putting it in a song and making art, like a canvas. Like, another thing that I love doing is getting a blank canvas, getting paints, and whether you're finger painting or painting with brushes or whatever it is, drawing your emotions on that thing, right? Letting the pain live outside of you so you're not holding so much of it, and just feeling into what that feels like. Just drawing, just allowing yourself to move through, allow yourself to just fully be open to what wants to come through you. And there's so much healing in that. And the one thing that I grapple with sometimes, and I've come to the conclusion that yes, pain is a catalyst for healing. So is love. So is easy times. But there's something really human about the pain process and how we show up to the pain process. And as long as we don't let it slip into suffering, which is really easy if we're not aware, if we can stay on the nucleus of pain and just be in it without the story, without suppressing it, without trying to push it away, and we're just with it, the greatest lessons come from that. The absolute greatest lessons come from that. So how can we be present with our pain day by day, choose to make art, choose to transmute it, choose to channel it into something absolutely extraordinary and beautiful, and not to monetize, not to show the world, not to do anything other than to serve you and to give it back to you and show you what you're made of. Because I swear to you, the greatest things that I have ever created have come from a place of that deep emotional pain. And our life is set up, the architecture of this whole human experience is set up to give us painful things so that we can evolve. Like, the only thing that we're here for is for our souls to evolve. That's it. That is it. That is it. And yes, we can do that through love and light. Yes, we can do that through happiness. But there is something so raw, so human about doing that through pain and welcoming in that pain like an old friend and just letting it move through your body until you get to the other side. And during that journey, make art, feel it all the way through. If we want to feel better, we need to be better feelers. So really letting that energy move through the entire body and then have the story to tell on the other side. That's it, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Can't Be Contained. If there is someone in your life who is going through a particularly challenging, hard time that you love dearly, it would mean the world to me if you would send them this podcast and let them know that you're thinking of them. And maybe they too can turn their pain into art and change the world. Thank you so much once again. And we will catch you for another episode next week. Have a great one.